Welcome to the Phil Steele Plus Tour with selections for Saturday morning. This is your second edition, the FCS edition. The FCS plays now 32-16 over the last 2 years. A nice 3-1 week last week. Let's get started with your first game, and it is Monmouth versus Charlotte. Now, you won with Monmouth last week here on the tour with the over against Fordham. The Mountain Hawks had led 34-21 at the half. Got there 49-28 with the two teams combining for 890 yards. Now, unfortunately, we do have a typo as I show you this, but we'll get that corrected. In fact, if you're a Phil Steele Plus member, probably by the time you see this video, it'll be corrected. But Monmouth has now gone over the total the last 12 of the last 14 games. They are number one in total offense in the FCS this year, averaging 490 yards per game, again through two games. They were number one in the FCS total last year at 490 yards per game, as you see down here. And this year, they are number one again through two games, averaging 573 yards per game. They put up 678 yards. It says 378 here. That'll get corrected. But that was actually 678. That's why this is 573 down here. Despite QB Robertson in the opener threw 4 interceptions. Now, you can, of course, go right here, individual player stats, and we have all these updated for all the FCS teams. You can see 4 interceptions in the opener right there. He's actually got a 10-5 ratio this year. This up top must be only last week's stats. In fact, I think this file is probably corrected. Maybe I'm just not refreshed on it because I'm sure that all that information's up to date. Charlotte's offense has struggled through two games, putting up just 14 points and 245 yards. Now, I just watched the Charlotte-North Carolina game last night. Charlotte had a couple of really close chances to score and blew it. A drop touchdown pass in the end zone, stopped on downs deep, a missed field goal. Could easily have put up more points against a much stronger North Carolina. Now, Monmouth's defense allows 481 yards per game. That one we got correct. You can see the red over here. I love the red-green. You can see the red is a weak and the green is good. They played two teams in Colgate and Fordham that averaged less than 21 points last year, and they gave up 39 and 28. Fordham only averaged 18 points and 293 yards last year. Monmouth allowed 28 and 421. Charlotte's defense allowed 404 pass yards against App State. Now they're taking on Derek Robertson, who, as I showed you here, had a 6-1 ratio last week. He's thrown for 833 yards and 10 touchdowns in two games. Last week they gave up 239 yards in the first half to North Carolina. We got halftimes right here for all the FBS schools. Look at that. They gave up 339 at the half to App State, 239 at the half to North Carolina. And Chris is saying he's going to ride the streak of overs for Monmouth here. The total is, let's see what the total is here. I believe it is, let me look, it's Monmouth against Charlotte. Monmouth against Charlotte. All right, let me find the total real quick just so I give you an accurate number. It is 67.5, and Chris is saying take the over. Once again, take the over in Monmouth against Charlotte. All right, let's get to your second game, and it's Gardner-Webb versus the Citadel. Let's see who's where. Click on your FCS team pages here on your menu, and you go to the Citadel, and they are here, and they are taking on Gardner-Webb. We will put them over here. Gardner-Webb. All right, so we got Gardner-Webb against the Citadel here. Just trying to see who the home team is. Gardner-Webb's the home team. I should have them on the right, but I don't. But Gardner-Webb is the home team for this one. Now, this is a misleading final game of the week, Chris says. He watches the tour religiously and likes to have the same things on this one that we do on the other one. And what does he mean by misleading final game of the week? Well, Chris says that we go to the Samford versus Citadel box score here. The Citadel lost at North Dakota State 38-0 in the opener, as you see here. Last week, they were plus 5.5 at Samford. Samford was intercepted at the Citadel 4 and trailed 10-6 at the half. They were intercepted at their own 29, and the Citadel went 19 yards for a touchdown. Samford's next two possessions resulted in them picking up 31 and 59-yard fumble returns for touchdowns right here. And 5 straight possessions ended in turnovers. Samford went 75-8 for a touchdown to make it 27-13. The Citadel went 55-13, or 55-15, I should say, and 27-4 for touchdowns. That last one must have been after a turnover as well. With just 1:04 left. Oh, no, that was after they got stopped on downs, he says. The Citadel was outgained. Look at this. They gave up 452 yards. They had only 330. They got outgained 26-15. What was the final score? It was 40-13. So it is a misleading final. This shows you that they blew out Samford. This tells you that they were actually outplayed by Samford, if not for all the turnovers. The +4 in turnovers was a big help. Now, the Citadel was outgained, or Gardner-Webb put up 627 yards in the opener. Let's take a look at that. 627 yards against Gardner-Webb. And last week they scored first versus Georgia Tech, but couldn't stop the Jackets in a 59-12 loss. The Gardner-Webb used both Nate Hampton and Cole Pennington, a couple of transfers. Pennington, a Marshall transfer. They used both QBs last week. They've combined for a 4-1 ratio. I like that. I just watched the Georgia Tech game last night and listened to it. And Gardner-Webb actually led that thing 6-0 at the end of the first quarter. Gardner-Webb has a second-year head coach in Chris Reisert. They were decimated in the portal before the 24 season and dropped to 4-8. But this year they have 14 starters back. See, here they were a good team. The portal hit them hard. We were going against them weekly last year, and they had a bad season. But it's his second year. They've got 14 starters back, much better shape. Now, Gardner-Webb is only 2-3 at home, but 1-4 straight up, or 1-4 ATS last year. But 2 years before, if you go look at how Gardner-Webb did at home, they were 8-1 at home, and 5-3 ATS, and the line's only 4.5. Gardner-Webb already beat West Carolina, which was picked third in the preseason in the SoCon poll, and they now play the Citadel, who is picked 8th. Because of this misleading final, the spread is cheap. Gardner-Webb is just -4.5 here against the Citadel, and we're taking Gardner-Webb. Final score, Gardner-Webb 31, the Citadel 17. All right, a couple notes for you. How to get to these stats for the FCS? I'll show you real quick. You get to the Phil Steele Plus menu if you're a Phil Steele Plus member. And right here, you've got the FBS information with all this here. You've got the FCS information with all this. Let me see if the average game grades are updated. I'm not sure if they're updated yet. Updated 9/11. They are updated. So right now, North Dakota and Austin Peay are the top 2 teams in our FCS AGG. So you got to like that. Let's click back over here. Click back. There we go. And we also have NFL information, by the way. All the team pages for the NFL. Just click on them here. You'd see last week the Browns had a 22-11 first down edge, 327, 141-yard edge, and lost the game by 1 to Cincinnati. 2 big missed field goals and -2 in turnovers. That's a misleading final right there. But the NFL, we actually get you last 10 years over-under records. Look at that. You get spread records, over-under totals, everything there. And you get the last 20 years logs in the NFL if you want to know what the teams did spread-wise. That's updated. And you also get individual player stats. If you're a fantasy football guy and you want to know how a player did against a team last year or the year before, it's all up there on your NFL team pages. So keep that in mind. If we go to the store for a minute, I do want to point this out. Phil Steele Plus is a great value. You get the FBS, FCS, and NFL all for just $99. That's for the whole season through the Super Bowl. That's a tremendous deal. That's September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months for $99. A tremendous deal. But if you sign up to any of the Inside the Press Box newsletters, you get in Phil Steele Plus free. Now, Inside the Press Box, college is $169, NFL is $169, NFL is $269. But because you're taking the tour here with me today, I've got a special for you. And the special is this. By the way, it's me versus the computer on the Inside the Press Box. The computer currently beating me, 9-4. I'm only 7-9. Computer 62-37 the last 27 weeks. NFL best bets went 3-0 this year so far. But it's $169 plus Phil Steele Plus. So overall, you're getting a $399 value. $129 All you do is go to this Inside the Press Box College Edition where it's $169. Type in the code word TOURCHAMPC. You get Inside the Press Box all the way through the regular season, complete write-ups on every FBS game all through the regular season. Plus, you get Phil Steele Plus, a $99 value, all for $129. NFL is $149. College and NFL bundle $199. Use Tour Champ C for the college, Tour Champ P for the pros, Tour Champ B for the bundle. And this, of course, includes Phil Steele Plus for the year. My computer's projection on every single game, and that's how you get it. You can also call 866-918-7711. All right, let's get back to the tour. Your next game is East Tennessee State versus West Georgia. So let's go up here to the FCS team pages and go to FCS team pages. And we have East Tennessee State against West Georgia. Chris should really tell me who the home team is and who the visitor is. Okay, West Georgia is at home. We're going to put them on the right. What's West Georgia's nickname? Look at that. It's the Wolves. I had no clue. West Georgia Wolves. But I'm going to become an instant expert on West Georgia in a half a second because I've got all this information in front of me. Who their leading passer was last year, who their leading rusher was, leading receiver, what they did in every game last year, what they're doing in every game this year. So that is them, and they are playing East Tennessee State. Now, Chris's play here is East Tennessee State plus 5.5. What's their nickname? The Buccaneers. Plus 5.5 over West Georgia. Now, if you look at the rankings, and there's a thing in the FBS which says if you become in the rankings for the first time in a long time, all of a sudden you have a bad week because everybody starts talking about you're in the rankings. As we see here, West Georgia, number 25. And this is pretty much shocking because it is the first year ever for this program to be ranked. So you have a team that last year was 4-7. And this year they're 2-0 and ranked because they beat Nicholls State last week 34-10. You got to know everybody's pretty high on themselves right now at West Georgia. And they're actually a 5.5-point favorite in this one. It's the first time they've ever been ranked. Now, ETSU went 7-5 last year, but they lost their head coach for a second straight season. They made a solid hire, however. They brought in former Charlotte head coach Will Healy, and he brought in some big-time talent from the portal, adding 27 transfers, including 2 VHT former Power 4 starters, Jacoby Criswell from North Carolina, and he also brought in Cade McNamara. Now, Criswell was a PS number 30. Cade McNamara, PS number 20. McNamara, of course, started at Michigan and started at Iowa last year. Now, ETSU beat Murray State last year, right here, last week, I should say, 45-17, and then were crushed by Tennessee, as you would expect. The Bucs were 7-5 last year, but plus 97 yards per game. You got to like that. That was a good team. And all 4 of their FCS losses were by 7 or less, including a 3-point loss to North Dakota State. Powerful North Dakota State. Look at that. They only lost by 3. And in this game, against a team that's not North Dakota State, you're getting 5.5. You got to like that. West Georgia has been phenomenal their first 2 games. They are plus 27 points per game, plus 183 yards per game. But as we've seen many times, when a team gets ranked for the first time, it gets overconfident and is a favorite the next week. And we like East Tennessee State, 24, West Georgia, 21. So it looks like Cinderella gets a little road bump here. Take East Tennessee State plus the points over West Georgia. And your final one for this week, we're going to take a look at Southern Illinois against UT Martin. And let's take a look here. Who is favored? Who's at home? Southern Illinois, UT Martin. Southern Illinois. Chris, if you're watching this, make sure you give me who the home team is next week. Southern Illinois against UT Martin. UT Martin's at home. Okay. So let's get UT Martin and put them at home. They'd probably be under Tennessee Martin, or are they under UT Martin? They're under UT Martin. There we go. UT Martin Skyhawks. Put them over here. And they are taking on Southern Illinois. We're going to put them on the left. Here is Southern Illinois. All right. Both teams have taken on some top teams. Last year, Southern Illinois was 2-1, having beat Austin Peay and Incarnate Word. And then they suffered a cluster of injuries: quarterback, running back, tight end, linebacker, and they lost 7 of their last 9 games. 4 different quarterbacks started for them. You can see them all here. Look at that. 4 different QBs last year. If you look at the individual player stats, you could see this guy started here, then was out, then this guy started here, and he was out, and he started here. 4 different QBs started last year, so it was a mess. They returned 11 starters this year, including D. Williams, who returned from injury. So DJ Williams here. Let's see what DJ Williams did last year. Which games? He started the opener. He started against BYU, Austin Peay, and Incarnate Word. So that 2-1 start and a loss to BYU was under DJ Williams, and he's back this year, so that's good. Now, they added 18 transfers, 9 from the FCS, 9 from the FBS. They opened with a win over D2 Thomas More, 49-3, and then lost 34-17 to Purdue. But they're only outgained 384 to 309, and I think it was pretty close at the half. UT Martin has lost to 2 FBS opponents. UT Martin went 10-5 last year, losing the FCS quarterfinals. They returned only 7 starters for head coach Jason Simpson, who is in his 20th year. The Skyhawks lost their 1,000-yard rusher. Patrick Smith is gone. Their top 7 pass receivers, you're going to see none of these guys. And if you went under the individual player stats, you could get down to the top 7. You'll notice that none of those 7 is back this year. They were competitive in the opener with Oklahoma State. By the way, one quick note for you while I'm thinking of it. I didn't mention it. I'm just going to pop over here for a sec. We're going to go to the store. You can actually get a 2-page write-up on every single FCS team. If you want to become a real expert, go to the digital editions here. And when you go to digital editions, you get the 2 full pages on every FCS team right here. $25 for the year. Get the FCS digital magazine. All right, so let's go back. And that's a 2 full-page write-up. It's the same layout as you get in the FBS magazine. All right, so let's go back here now. They were competitive in the opener with Oklahoma State, losing 27-7. And then even though Oklahoma State did lose their starting quarterback up 14-0, last week they lost 42-17 to UTEP. Southern Illinois plays in a tougher conference, is a much-improved team, and will contend for a playoff spot if they stay healthy. UT Martin's rebuilding. Its SIU is only minus 3.5. Chris thinks they win by double digits. He's got SIU 31 and UT Martin 21. So there you got 4 plays. Don't forget to check out the actual FBS version, which gets you 5 selections and 6 quick hitters. The overall free plays here on the Phil Steele Plus Tour went 10-5 last week. Let's hope we have another winning week. Thanks for the information, Chris, and thank you for taking the Phil Steele Plus Tour for Saturday.